Boom, what's going on, y'all? It's Isaac of AllStar Lifestyle. Young Vintage Tiger sinking our face into this world with no hesitation and forward thinking only. Shining with our A factor, baby. You know how we moving to the top. But listen, for this one right here, this another Penthouse Perspectives. This one has been dawning on me, correct? Because as the title says, it's come home to yourself. But what does come home to yourself mean? What does come home mean? And I wanted to define it because I've been thinking to myself, what does home mean for me? We can talk about penthouses. We can talk about what's up in it. We can talk about the furniture, the layout, the format, how I want to design things, the cleanliness of it all. That's part of it. That is home because, remember, as within, so without. The things around you is a reflection. You're not going to keep things around you just because you keep it around. But if you do, that's also a part of you. But if you don't, you have things a certain way, that's because that's a part of you and that's what you chose that came from within. And as I'm creating my place and I'm creating the inside of it, I've been thinking to myself though. I've been saying things like come home and make sure y'all come home to yourself. And then I started defining it for me though. Because it's not necessarily coming home to this place that's materialized, but come home to your core. Come home to within. And people seek so much externally. They forget that the first house we ever had, you ever had, is actually within you. You are the first home. And then you create the home outside of you in this world. Organize internally. Manage internally. Clean internally. Speak internally. Come home to what's important. Come home to the routines that you know is going to push you to get to the farthest place that you know you need to be. Come home to the compassion and the desire and ambition. Return back or to, because we never move back, but let's return to the birth of it all. Because in this world, learning, growing up, adapting, moving, we are created to be other versions, things that we pick up on, because we're so adaptable or impressionable to a certain point when you grasp your reality, your mind is my world. But until then, you take up on these things. And as you take them on, you start to identify with it. You identify with the inconsistency. You identify with the wrong ambition. You identify with losses. You identify with financial losses. You identify with bad loss with women. You're not really getting women that you want to get. And my thing is, where did that stem from? Okay? Because even another thing, this just came to mind, is that, you know how people, they will be like, man, I was getting a lot of women at this point, or I was getting a lot of money at this point, but now it's just nothing. Now I don't got it anymore. And remember, you never had it if you lost it. It was just the way you were going about it was the way that you thought that that's what it had to be like. But then as time progresses, you realize that's just the evolution of life. You actually are just outgrowing that way. And plus, anything that wasn't that the actual way is just another decoy of what everything is. You're just covering up the wound, the bullet hole with the Band-Aid over it. And I'm saying that to say, right, that you never lose anything that you never had. So what was the thing that you had before you lost that one thing or thought that you had it? Come home to yourself. Come home to the birth of your ascension, your birth of your evolution, the birth of your ambition. This part right here is specifically for my go-getters, my risk takers, people that's out there, entrepreneurs. We're always in this world creating spiritually, materializing things realistically. And as we do that, we're so into what we are and the evolution that we don't even recognize in the presence. We are actually the thing that we wanted to be. And we don't acknowledge it until there's a time to acknowledge it. Or we may lose sight of it. Now, you never lose sight once you have the sight. The only thing you don't even lose anything. That's beautiful, actually. I just thought about that. You never lose sight of what you had sight of and doing the sight for the action of it. The only thing you do is that you start to creating. I use this analogy a lot. You have a seed, you put the seed, you start to create a tree. And what do trees have? Branches. They have leaves. And as you create your vision, you also create branches of certain things. Your multiverse begins. And that's how it happens. So you don't lose sight. But what you can do is forget about what was the start of it. Because now we're so into the future, which is our present, that we don't even see why we started this. Again, come home to yourself. Come home. Come back home to you. Come back home to the birth of it all. What was the reason you started this? Why is it the reason that you will want to evolve? What made you push that? What drove you to do that? What birthed the idea or the actions of you not getting women and being bad with it? What birthed the idea of nervousness in front of large crowds? What birthed the idea that I have bad spending habits? What birthed it? And once you see it and you understand and you come home to yourself, you realize you never left. You were always there. It's just that as you leave home, you travel around, you get and pick up things as you go, and things that can help, things that can also pull you down, depending on your willpower. But as that happens, remember to keep returning home. It's great to go out to the world. It's great to explore. We're stars. We're meant to be out. We're meant to shine. But even stars, even us, we still have home to come to.